We visited an old friend, and this is the 5th year in a row this gorgeous male has lived in the pillow above the logjam through the summer. The first couple of times I went straight at the fish, feeding it in its feeding lane, but in doing so I capitulated to its terms and gave hand to its escape cover, and it broke me off in the heavy timber. I've learned that the only way to land these fish is to draw the fish out, to gain a few feet of leeway once hooked up, because those are the exact few feet you'll need in fighting these fish in order to have a chance at landing them. The cast is deceptively demanding of accuracy. A due lateral cast about 2 feet to its right to induce a lateral take and get a solid hookup as your best cast, and that also buys a few feet of buffer from the logs. Given that this is a peak of summer fish in low clear water with a keen lateral line to its environment, I knew it would be more than happy to chase my fly. If you're hearing what I'm saying, my process of trying to gain the upper hand began before I cast. That fly had to land in a 10-inch window to its right. But even with the best laid plans, that fish was still so strong in the cool water, it went exactly where I knew it would. And it again won the battle. It wrapped me around a log, and I had to go into its lair to draw it out. As I did, a big brown swam away from the logjam, past my feet, and I assumed it broke me off.
Off? No. Really? I'm sorry. Gee. Oh, bugger.
But as I went to retrieve my fly and leader from the wood, I felt a pulsing in my line. My fish was still attached. Now for the real drama.
Yes! No way, awesome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna break this fly off, and literally he was around 3 different logs, and before I went in there, went after that fish. This was your setup, hey love? And you had a little size 14 elk hair caddis on, and I said, you know, I think I need a really firm hook, a little bit thicker hook than a size 14 elk hair dry fly. So I just wanted to go a little bit beefier steel, and the reason I did that was I'm not blind. I saw the big log jam that fish was going to go into. And we had 3X, which is that new Orvis 3X tippet it is stronger. And you saw what I just did with that brown, and I was able to hand line that fish out of there because of the new stronger tippet at 3X, as well as a thicker steel fly. And it was, I knew if I just kept that rod sideways, that would tire him out. I knew he was going to go, they kind of go like this on their side away from you, kicking as you're trying to pull this way, keep the rod low. You know he's going under there. But if you just keep it in line underneath, you're gonna get him straight line instead of wrapping and hooking and arcing and going on doing all this kind of stuff through the logs. You're gonna keep him in a straight line to where he goes in by keeping your rod tip low, that line in there, and just pull. And worst case scenario, which is what I just finished doing, is he's gonna go in there and stay in there, and you have a choice. You can leave a fish with a fly in its mouth, or you can go in there and try to get it out. And the thing is, you have to go in and you have to follow your leader all the way in. If you're gonna go 1 knot, 2 knot to the tippet, and you know you're close. And by the time you get close, you can feel the pulsing in your hand. And I've done this a lot of times, unfortunately. I keep getting my butt kicked. But eventually you're gonna feel a piece of rubber, and that's gonna be his tail. And that's what you wanna just try to grasp, and you wanna hold that tail and don't let go. There's the peduncle. If that's his tail like that and the peduncle's right there, you just right there. It's not a death grip, it's just a firm, because you don't want to break its spine either. So that's the tail of this. But of course, with bush rodeos, for every yin, there's a yang. The trouble with sight fishing is that you can see everything that's happening. That's a great thing, but it also entices you into difficult scenarios, and this was one. This big brown held 4 feet deep, nosed into the base of a trough in behind a wood jam. I was high on the bank, shrouded in tall grasses and shrubs that hooked my extra slack line, which impeded both my double haul and my shooting ability.
Of course, there were the usual trees on my back cast, demanding a bit of a chopped steeple cast. Because of the clear water, low flows, and a large wary brown, the cast had to not just be accurate, but the fly had to arrive naturally. You don't leave that set of parameters to the chance of miscommunication, so I stayed high in the bank to be my own spotter. The casting options were kind of ugly. I could have opted for a cross-body reach cast with my dominant right hand, but I would have been forced to step forward on the bank, leaving me completely exposed and lit up to the fish. I was using a 16-foot leader, casting 2 nymphs naked as to land gently and get down quickly. The steeple cast to avoid the trees behind me would need a high line speed, but in order to get a high line speed with a 16-foot leader and double tungsten nymph setup, you need extra false casts, which of course you don't want to do when exposed to large trout in clear water. I opted to pull my lucky rabbit trump card and go left-handed. This allowed me to remain back from the bank concealed. My slack line control improved instantly as my spare line was out to my left away from the line-catching shrubs and grasses. A left-handed reach cast allowed me to reach out over the shrubs and grasses to lay out a cast.
He came straight up, eh?
Fantastic.
Came straight up and took that. It's a big, fat mother of a fish. He's going to disappear underneath that spruce.
Yeah,
Sorry, I got to get down.
absolutely.
Like, that's just fat, eh?
Oh yeah.
That's not going to end well. He's above the spruce, eh?
Gotcha.
Big rise in the corner up top. See that right?
Oh geez, yep.
I had no choice but to go in.
He's off.
That was legitimate 5-6 pound fish.
That's hard to take.
Yeah. Oh well.